You're listening to the introduction episode of the Indie Film Tribe podcast with me, your host, Angela Matemotja. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today and welcome. Welcome to the Indie Film Tribe podcast. I'm so grateful you're here and so happy that you are going to hopefully be joining me on this journey. So, what this episode is all about, it's the introduction episode. So, I just want to give you a heads up of what I intend to do with this podcast and also give you a little backstory on me so you know who you are dealing with today. So, first and foremost, the Indie Film Tribe podcast is a podcast where filmmakers, actors, and screenwriters that are committed to creating socially conscious content come to learn, to get inspired, and to get motivated. And our focus is going to be to shine a spotlight on first creators of color, on women, and also all underrepresented artists. And I also want to be able to teach people on this podcast, and again, to motivate and inspire filmmakers, also inspire actors and screenwriters that are committed to creating content with a conscience. And one of the things I'm going to also be doing is bringing on a guest. And in this way, we're going to be able to learn from industry experts basically just how to create, how to produce, how to market, and how to get our projects out into the world. I really want to build a tribe of artists that support each other, that inspire one another by sharing our stories, also by educating ourselves and helping each other get our socially conscious content out into the world. My whole take on this is that currently I feel like the world is in a crisis, and my belief is that art can heal. And stories, that do shine a light on issues such as police brutality, racism, homophobia, mental illness, homelessness, religion discrimination, addiction, equal rights, incarceration, child abuse, elderly abuse, all of these kind of stories I feel can really help educate, really help to inspire change and elevate our consciousness. That is truly my mission as an artist, as a filmmaker, and that is the reason I started this podcast, Indie Film Tribe, because my goal and my wish is to gather other like-minded filmmakers that are equally as committed to creating stories like this. Real quick, I was born in the former Soviet Union. Me and Gary V, y'all. Gary Vaynerchuk, for those of you that don't know, was also born in the former Soviet Union. And currently I live in Los Angeles. So because I was born into a bicultural family, also a biracial family, my perspective and experiences in this world have been quite unique, to say the least. My black South African father was part of the political arm of the ANC, that is the African National Congress, and the ANC helped him escape from the political oppression to study in the former Soviet Union. And in Kiev, that is where my father actually met my mom, Ludmila Alexandrovna Tarabanovna. And Kiev is also my birthplace. So, because my father had to live in exile, by the time that I was 8 years old, I'd lived in Russia, I'd lived in Kenya, I'd lived in Tanzania. And I, came to America speaking Swahili and Russian. And I immediately, realized that I just really didn't fit in with other kids. So, by the time I was a teenager, obviously feeling like a total misfit and growing up in the South Bay of Los Angeles during the 80s. And at that time, just to give you some backstory on the South Bay and the scene, the South Bay was just a fertile ground for punk rock music. All of these bands were like literally in my backyard. Bands like The Descendants, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Red Cross, all of these amazing bands were just really starting to boom. So at that time, I naturally fell into the scene. I fell into the punk rock scene, punk rock music and ska music, like literally expressed everything that I was and everything that I felt. The legitimized anger echoed in bands like Crass, MDC, Uniform Choice, The Specials, Operation Ivy. This was something that I related to on a visceral level and was really not hearing about in popular culture, like quite frankly, in a way that I could understand. And the intro music to my podcast is actually one of these bands, a Crimp Shrine, that I was just obsessed with as a high school kid. So thanks to Jeff Ott, shout out, woo woo. Thank you so much for letting me use this intro music. So basically, these early, experiences of being just feeling kind of like an outcast, coming from Russia, being South African and Russian, just really kind of informed my whole outlook on society and race and culture. So, my mission as a filmmaker is to explore the social, subcultural, and international aspects of our nation one story at a time. And I have been doing this through my work with my production company, Matemotja Productions. And my goal, again, with Indie Film Tribe is to teach, motivate, and inspire filmmakers, actors, and screenwriters that are committed to creating content with a conscience. Again, I believe our world is in crisis, and I know that art can heal. So, really quick, as a filmmaker, my first short film entitled The Encounter, that did really well, got into a bunch of film festivals. And basically, The Encounter is a comment on post apartheid South Africa. My second film, The Untimely Concurrence, that is a comment on homosexuality in the black community. And that film also won a handful of awards and also did really well. Currently, I'm in post production on a film entitled Elevate, and this is a film that is mainly about a woman's struggle with food. And it's also a film about healing, acceptance, and compassion. So, straight out of the gate, from day one, the kind of films and the kind of stories that I've been really inspired to tell have this element of healing and compassion. And I just really want to have other filmmakers join in this sort of vision, this process that I kind of have, and I'm really, really excited about. In a nutshell, I think we as artists have the power to encourage dialogue for understanding, for acceptance, and compassion. That is my mission and has been since 2011. So, if you'd like to learn from like minded filmmakers, please come join me and subscribe to Indie Film Tribe. And also, if there's a type of guest that you want to hear from, or if there's specific questions that you have about filmmaking, that you have about screenwriting or acting, please send me an email. Just send an email to indiefilmtribe@gmail.com. That's indiefilmtribe@gmail.com. And I will do my best to either answer those questions on a podcast or bring on a guest that is an expert in that field. So, here's a rundown of how the podcast is going to work. So, I'm going to bring on a guest once a week, and I think maybe every fourth or fifth episode, it'll just be a solo episode of just me where I come on to teach about content creation. I feel like that is sort of my expertise, is just really guiding people on how to create socially conscious content. So that is how the episodes are going to run. And also with my solo episodes, it might also be a Q&A. If you go ahead and send me your emails, indiefilmtribe@gmail.com, that fourth episode every month can be me just simply answering your questions. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you the first couple of episodes. The first episode is with Richard Lawson, and one of the reasons I brought him on because I literally made my first mini movies in his class. It was an acting class, a filmmaking class, and that class literally changed the course of my career. The second guest I have on is Brianna Brown. She is a very successful actress and she's also the CEO of the New Hollywood. Please listen to that episode. She has so many insights and just real clear and specific ways about having a successful career in Hollywood. And my third episode is Dwan. He is a top show recurring actor on a series called Bosch, which is on Amazon. Definitely check that out if you haven't gotten a chance. And not only is he an actor, but he is a coach. So he helps writers, he helps actors, he helps directors really work on their mindset, setting up their mindset. We as artists are sensitive people. We need to be sensitive people, but we also need to get our art out into the world. And sometimes I find this sensitivity that we have as artists, we feel things so deeply and we get hurt so easily. So sometimes we can sabotage ourselves from actually putting our work out into the world, right? So I just really want to create a space where we can just come together, right? And share our stories and get motivated and inspire and hear from other like minded artists that are really committed to creating socially conscious content and just get our stories out into the world. Good people, our world is in crisis, and I believe that art can heal. Thank you so much for joining me here at Indie Film Tribe, and I hope you enjoy the episodes. And please hit me up, let me know how it goes. Thanks so much. Bye.